Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. Welcome back to this new episode. My name is Manzi Mbaya, and you already know. And you are listening to the number one podcast in the country. Oh, beautiful people, I'm very excited. You know, I feel very happy because it's always a pleasure to have creative people in my studio. And I told you guys from the beginning, I'm not gonna disappoint you. I'm gonna always bring you guys and girls that can inspire you, but also I see them doing many stuff outside there, and we're gonna talk about everything today. But ladies and gentlemen, Juan Nsabiye. I have Juan Nsabiye in the studio. He's a creative person and an artist and a stylist that I respect and admire a lot.
Thank you.
Welcome to the studio, bro.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me and thinking about me for this.
I mean, c'est normal. It's normal.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And congratulations for this, really. I remember at the time we were talking about it before you started everything, and here it is now. It's working. It's impressive.
Thank you. I mean, I've talked about it in the previous episodes, but I feel really grateful, you know, sitting here with you and different artists.
Come on.
I'm always very humbled, you know, because this is not something I grew up seeing, you know, and that was the reason why I wanted you to come here, because I'm like, man, this guy is doing big, man. This guy is really doing something different, you know. I mean, people watching us on YouTube, they can see, look at this. Really, look at this. You can't afford this.
They can, definitely.
I mean,
why
they can.
They shouldn't be afraid.
It's just me hyping you, you know, it's just me hyping you.
They can definitely afford it.
Yeah.
And that's also one of my motto, or one of my my goals, because I also used to think that a certain standard of elegance and you know, like looking good is not accessible to anyone. Related to where I grew up, or like you know, like what I was seeing, or the exposure I was, the things and the people and the sources I was exposed to. But I basically realized with the time and the experience that it's something basically that anyone can get to if they want it, you know. And so it doesn't mean it has to be expensive, it doesn't mean it has to be inaccessible, but there are actually some tricks. I think we're gonna have more occasions to talk about it in details, but there are like ways to it's all about how you present yourself, basically. And some people might look more expensive than they're actually, or more educated or stuff like that. You know, it's all about how you present yourself, and that's 100% in control. Every person have control on that. So anyone can control how they appear to the world,
how they want to look.
Yeah, how they want to look. It's also a message they want to send to the world about who they are. So yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. It's very, I mean, inspiring. But also I want to know Juan Nsabiye, who is now a stylist and very active on social media, you know, because you are a big influencer out there. And, you know, I've been following you since you had like 1,000 followers.
Yes, or probably less.
Probably less, right? Yeah. And that was the time we met. That was, I don't even remember how.
You actually rang.
Which year was that?
I think it was 2016.
2016.
I remember when we met. We met on a dance lesson.
Yeah.
From Waka Fitness.
Ah, true.
With Alida. You were having a session with Alida, and a friend of mine like invited me over. I was like, yeah, you should come and check it out. And I was like, why not? So I was in between two things for work, and I was like, let me check it out. And I remember everybody was like in you know, in dance outfits and sneakers and stuff like that. I wasn't. I was like, I wish I knew you.
You had barefoot, I remember, in the class.
I had to. So I was wearing boots and uncomfortable shoes to dance with. and I was like, I need to put myself
Nice.
comfortable. So it was a good experience, and I remember that's when we met, and yes, so it's been a while. Here we are.
Here we are. You now
Yeah.
became a big influencer on social media.
Did I? Thank you.
I mean, you are, and that's why I wanted to invite you on my episode, on my podcast.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey, as as you're talking about.
Yeah.
I personally never. Obviously, I've been for a while trying to build a certain audience, really, because of what I was doing. I was actually starting doing it at that time.
Yeah.
And when you have a brand, or when you're selling something, anything, a product or a service, you need an audience. You need a certain exposure. So that was my main focus. And so I am glad that with the time it developed into something somehow multifunctional, or with different aspects, because I say I'm a stylist, I'm also a designer, I have a brand, and also have that platform on social media, and yes, so it's exciting. I love to see what it's becoming.
Nice.
Yeah.
And man, it's actually really fascinating to see you from 500 followers, and now you're like 9.
Almost 9,000 something, almost 10,000. But you know what I like about that? You know, from even that time, I think I knew so many people were like, yeah, why don't you buy followers? You know, the followers thing, like the number. Oh yeah, I have 10,000 plus followers, so I'm a big deal, you know. So I'm glad I was never shaken or influenced by that, like the insecurity of thinking, oh, I don't have enough followers, I should have more followers in order to be like to
just be there and have that big exposure.
Yeah, but the fact is, I would rather be at the 500 followers that actually choose to interact with what I do and love or having an interest in my content and what I do, rather than having 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers that barely are just there as a number. It's I think the most of the time it's related to insecurities, or like the whole world of social media that is pressuring the youth to to be accepted, to be a certain way in order to be accepted in the social media world, or in the world, or in the cycles in general.
Talking about that, I feel like this is a kind of an illusion that people have created when it comes to social media. Like, we artists have that pressure of like, I need to have this amount of followers so that I can be taken seriously.
Yeah, I can be legit, like people take me seriously. But it's a lure, because it gets to a point when you start to have a lot of people following your content. So you start realizing, for example, you're going to have more likes on a specific type of content and less likes on the other. Yeah. So people are probably more into this and less into this, and you are caught up in that trap of trying to please, because now you know what type of contents your followers are into. Very much, they're probably excited about let's say something, like parties, or like showing skin or stuff like that, and a lot of people, a lot of youth are tempted to just go with that flow. And it's actually a trap, because at the end you end up not creating at all, because you're not guided by your creativity. You don't care. You don't create anymore. You don't put out your true self anymore, because now you'll be like, they're not gonna like this. They're gonna be more into this. So I need to travel. I need to take another nice picture on the pool in my swimsuit, or I need to do this or I need to do that, you know. And it's actually a trap that a lot of artists I think the same is happening with music. The music that is selling more is probably not the best music, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think everybody should, especially those who are using the social media with their work or with their art, should pay attention to not fall into that trap.
Yeah.
They should focus more on the people that choose to interact with the art and actually accept them for who they are and for whatever they want to put out.
I mean, talking about that, I feel like that's not the right audience already. Because if you are posting, trying to please people, not being yourself, you know, then you don't have the right audience. Then you need to be yourself to create and to build that
exactly
right audience you want.
That's so true. But I also think it's also somehow, it's funny. So I personally think it all depends on your objective. Let me give you an example. So if your objective is to make money,
Yeah.
I just want to make a lot of money, then now it's going to change completely, because now you're going to focus on what the people want. And it's actually a good way to do it, because your objective, your goal is to get more money from those people. You know what they want. You need to know what they want in order to offer that to them, you know.
But now, how can you combine those two?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So if you are an entrepreneur and what you're looking for, it's a leverage, or like the value to whatever you pull out, or you want to sell something, right? If you want to sell something, then it's good to know the market you have.
Yeah.
You know, first you know the market, and then you know, what do I have to offer, and how much will I offer it, and is the market ready or able to afford my product or my service? Then that's on the entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
You know, that's completely on the business side, right? But if you are an artist and you really want to be authentic and actually present your work or your art, then it's completely different, because now it's the art is, I believe the art is personally linked to the personality, to the soul, to the true sense, you know, like who are you as a person, and what are you into, and what are you creating, you know. The focus is more about your art, and I believe the more you are authentic, with the time you're gonna be irreplaceable, or everybody now have to admit your authenticity, you know, like
you are
it's
building a trust.
Yes.
From the beginning.
So you are building something that is more lasting, because it's authentic. It's not moving with the trends, moving with now the society is moving a lot. Like, look at fashion. Fashion is very much changing all the seasons, you know. It doesn't. It ends up being superficial and you know, valueless. But if you focus more on building your brand and putting out your originality and your creativity and your art, then that's more lasting. However time it might take, if it takes 10 years, if it takes 5 years, if it takes, you know, 15 years, if that's what really makes you happy, like putting out your content, it's gonna, at the end, it has to be there, you know, because one of the things I believe in is, like, consistency is key to success.
Yeah.
In order to succeed to anything, you need to be consistent. You need to put out content, you need to create, you need to keep doing what you do in order to be the best at it. Yeah. So then when you're authentic, now you're gonna even know even better what you're good at, perfect it, or, you know, improve it, or create variety in what you do, and that's when you become the best in what you do, because you shouldn't focus on the outside thinking, are they gonna like my product, are they gonna like my art? No, focus on you. What do you do best, and now do it. Keep on doing it day and night, from Monday to Sunday. That's what I believe is the right way to do things for me, and I personally can assure you that it works.
Yeah, and do you feel like you need also a space to give to your audience for them to interact with your work, and also they give you how they view it, what is their perspective, what they want from it, you know? And I don't know. Yes, you are being yourself, but it's also, are you giving space for your audience to know what their needs?
I think with the time that might need to happen, with the time when you looking for like serving in a better way, for example, your market or your audience or this or that, then you need to know what are the needs or all of that. Again, that's on the side of your brand or your business. So, you're trying to sell something or to offer something, related to what you're offering, or, I personally think also that giving too much space to your audience is not that good, because now you're going to be controlled or like limited. Because your audience or the society might be limited in their thinking, in the mindsets, or in the in the perceptions of the thing, of the reality. You might be ahead of the time. That's the problem. Some kids and some people are really so good that they're ahead of the time or their society where they are in. But the problem is when you let yourself be controlled by what's there and all the people around you. It's a small society, but it's also, there is also the rest of the world. Now with social media and with internet, it's no more, you're no more limited to where you are or the conditions in which you live. You can access to a larger audience, a larger market, a larger everything. You're not limited by the borders anymore. So whatever you do, your art or your product or your service or whatever you're offering doesn't have to be limited, especially by the mindset of the people who are just right here.
But I also feel like, yes, you can't also listen to everyone, but you can also give them a space.
Yes.
You can listen to their
that for
ideas.
real. Yes, it's also, it gets real. Then you also have feedback. You also have, I sometimes have amazing texts or DMs or messages from the people. They're like, oh my God, I love what you do. This is so inspiring. Thank you for doing this. Or how can I get this? Or how can I get to do things, or like get to do what you do? All of that is what I believe is the right space, because it should be also having a purpose for anyone who's watching and who might get inspired, as this that you created, the podcast and the space that you created to offer different perspectives in order to inspire whomever might be listening. To inspire whomever might be having access to this content. And that's what I think is the best way to do it, is to, you find your voice, you find your true essence. Now you know what you have to offer, right?
Exactly.
And then once you know what you have to offer, what you can offer, then you have the people coming to get, it's like how do you call it, a well of water where they get refreshed, they get energy and they get inspiration and they get ideas in order to do whatever they
And I
might
feel
be
like
doing.
it's also a free space for you to have more freedom to create and
Exactly.
to welcome your creative
Yes.
side, you know?
Yeah, and
and to
also, and
develop.
I believe that space is also very important because now you know it somehow also can enlarge your perspective and give you more ideas in whatever you're creating or whatever you're putting out.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Juan, I wanna now take you back in history. You know, back
in,
when you're young.
in Waka, where we
No,
met.
not Waka. Before I
Okay.
met you. Before
Yeah.
I met you, and I wanna know that Juan who was young. What was your inspiration going to the world of fashion? Was it something that came when you were so young? Did it came at Waka when I met you?
Yeah. So I actually never realized. It's not like there was a turning point when I was like, oh, I'm very much into fashion. You know, like it was something from very back. I was always into dressing up. I always enjoy, like, you know, when you go into the church or when you go into a wedding and then you get excited because you know you're gonna put on new clothes or nice clothes. You're gonna be clean. I always love to be presentable and clean, and yes. So I remember at school in primary school, I was always that kid with a tucked-in shirt. Like everybody hated. The rest hated tucking in the shirts, but I was like, no, yeah. So I was always into that, but I think I was also inspired by some of my family and my dad because he was very much into quality stuff. Like he has his brands and specific, you know, specific details he's looking for when he's coming to dressing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and I was lucky. I also grew up in a family that was very much putting on a high standard, like a good appearance. We were taught on how to
look outside, physically, like.
Not really. It's more of like you have to be presentable if you're going somewhere. You have to be like. There was that background that also helped, but it doesn't mean that everybody else, you know, liked it. I was very much into it, probably more than my siblings or, you know, or my friends in the neighborhood. And so with the time.
And that neighborhood you're talking about, was it Kigali?
No, that was mostly Bujumbura. I grew up most of my youth. I was in Bujumbura. And yes, so yeah, it somehow shaped my love for fashion and my love for clothing and anything related to that. And I only started doing it as a profession later on, when I was around 23 years old.
Yeah.
And that's why I was probably like trying to see ways. I wasn't realizing it. It was more of like doing things for myself, but then it would attract the attention of my friends and my, you know, colleagues and stuff like that. I like, where did you get that tie? You know, I love wearing ties.
Yeah.
And so at some point I was making myself the ties, like handmade ties, and so it would attract the attention. They would want to have something similar. That's how I discovered there was a market for that. For what I love doing, I could actually sell it, you know. And then that's the realization that opened me up and was like, I can actually do this, you know. First as a side hustle, a side business, but later on it became something. It's like the main focus.
Yeah.
In 2016, that's when I.
And that's when you moved to Rwanda?
No, I was already in Rwanda. So I moved to Rwanda from 2014. In between 2014 2015. That's when I settled here, and I was, you know, like working and but also that's when I really started to realize there was actually a possibility to have a business around that, you know. And so yeah, that's basically how we started. I remember I was having a friend who was about to get married. So he knew I was making like ties and bow ties. Like, can you make stuff for me and my team, like the groomsmen and stuff like that? And yeah, that's how I was like.
And that was your first gig?
That was my first gig. But he asked me, how much are they? I didn't know how to, you know, like, it's like, let me see. So I was like, the fabric and so that's the thing as well. Like, sometimes creative forgets about when they're doing the pricing, they forget to add value to the time. They can add value to the cost of the fabrics, the material they use to do whatever, but the time they spend on creating something,
they forget it.
Sometimes they forget it because they're afraid to. They're gonna be like, oh, if it's too expensive, then nobody's gonna buy it, you know, stuff like that, which is a true hustle for most of the startups in fashion.
Not only fashion.
Not only fashion.
Even
you're right.
me, I struggle with that sometimes.
Exactly. Like putting a certain value on your craft.
Yeah.
And yeah. So of course, the good thing, I believe that shouldn't stop anybody to, you know, there are so many struggles, but nothing should discourage you to start. Just start doing your thing.
Yeah.
To anybody who is having an idea, just start your idea. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have a store or an office or a space. You don't have to have money sometimes.
True.
I remember when I went to register for my business, they were like, so how much money did you start with? I was like, how much money did I start with? You know, like, it was never an investment like, I'm taking like, I don't know how many 100,000 or something like that into this. It's not like you take a certain amount of money, you put it into this. No, like I basically didn't start with probably anything. You know, sometimes the greatest ideas can be started without any funds or any money, you know, like you don't have to have a lot of money in order to start something. And that's a lot of the times. Sometimes I have my friends or like the people I meet, and then I like to talk about because I love the entrepreneurial journey, like the experience and all of that. So I like to talk about it, and to, especially with the younger ones who, you know, in Rwanda especially, or around here in the region, we have a lot of youth that are like, there is no work, you know, there is no jobs. We don't have jobs. And they're just relaxed. They're just staying home, and they basically don't try, you know. Or they get into that mindset that there is nothing to do, there is no jobs, opportunities. So sometimes I like to talk about, you know, jobs and businesses and stuff like that. And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, I would love to start my business, but I don't have a capital. Yeah. And sometimes you're curious, like, how much money do you need to start your business? Like, yeah, maybe 100,000 or maybe 500,000 if I have that. Francs? Yeah. If I have that, then I can start something. I'm like, first of all, what do you want us to do? Like, what's your business? What's your idea? You know? So the problem is that the mindset is that a lot of you think they need to have a lot of money in order to start a business. And
do you think it's not necessary?
The thing that starts is not the money. It's the idea.
Exactly. And then
you can sell the idea $1 million or whatever. You know, the idea is the key to any type of successful business. They say out of 10 businesses or something like that, only one business is going to survive, you know, or out of 7, something like this. So the reason why it survives is because of the starting point, which is an idea. Because if first you don't even know what you're going to do, even if you had $1 billion, you don't know what to use it for. Like, you don't know how to use it. You're gonna waste it in whatever, here and there, trying something. You think you're trying something, but then, the first point is not the money. The first point is the idea.
When you have that idea, let's talk about some people. I don't think they have a chance to implement that idea. Yes, you have an idea.
Why do you think they don't have a chance? What tells you they don't have a chance?
Because I feel like...
Give me an example of an idea. Or
an idea.
Or a kid or a person who wants to start something, but they don't have a chance.
I mean, let's talk about, for example, a kid from the village.
Mm-hmm.
You're a kid and you have that dream of becoming a dancer, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You don't access TV, you don't access social media.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the inspiration coming from?
Where do you get the idea first of wanting to be a dancer?
I mean, already you're dancing. Maybe you have radio,
mm-hmm.
and you dance, But
that's very interesting, actually. That's very interesting
that
that you talked about it. Have you seen that kid on social media? A very young kid that so good at dancing that everybody was like, I wanna know. Even the stars, I think Mehdi.
But that situation...
No, it's an example. It's an example.
I saw the kid.
So the thing is, I always tell the people, or like even myself, I always I rarely focus on the problems or the negative.
Yeah.
Because while you see obstacles and struggles and limitations, I see opportunities. There is now, as how does it get spread? Like, how do you access even that music or that? How do you see other people dancing? Maybe you went somewhere and you saw a TV and then you say, oh my God, I want to do that. It starts there. But what I believe in is the people who don't give up are the ones who get to something.
Of course.
Every time, it's all about the mindset as well. So if you limit yourself, be like, I'll never be able to do this because of the circumstances. It's true, because we cannot control the circumstances we live in or where we were born or, the type of family we grew up in, whatever. We don't control that. But what we can control is the rest. What happens after? I'm from a poor family and I'm from this neighborhood and that. I don't have access to this and that. What's next? Right?
That's
what next? How do you change that? There is always something. There is always a center somewhere in the village. There is always there is always that teacher that encourages young people to create something. There is always a way. And for me, the focus should be find a way to get where you want to go or to change your reality, because we have the power to change our realities. Someone said, I think Billie Eilish says, like, if you don't like where you are, move. You're not a tree.
Yeah.
You're not a tree. The tree is planted there. It's condemned to stay there the rest of its life. But you're not a tree. So at some point, on a bigger scale or smaller scale, we always have a certain control on how we lead our life. I would rather see someone growing up trying their best than someone who's not trying at all because of the limitations. And the problem is the limitations are from where we grew up or the kind of circumstances we're in. But in reality, you always have something to do.
Talking about limitations, because right now we're in 2020 and I know this is kind of different year compared to 2019, right? Because with the COVID-19 and the pandemic. What was your limitation? Do you feel like you had some problems with business and work and...
So, I think most of the businesses were hit by the pandemic and all of that, especially businesses related to fashion and lifestyle. And we probably went from like 100 to basically zero because... That's also the time I personally learned about ways to add more options, if I may say, or to add more accessibility to what I do. I basically started my first YouTube video. I wanted to start a YouTube video even before, like it's been probably a year or even more. But then I wasn't doing much during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should actually start this. I should actually, it was my first time editing a video.
Yeah, because that was a vlog, your first vlog you did.
It was not I also want to do vlogs, but it was not a vlog. It was more of a YouTube video, and it was basically talking about how I started my business into fashion, and it's a bit also about the journey.
Yeah.
But then so there were limitations and there were struggles, but again, that's where you also see opportunities, because now I had more time to create contents, mostly video contents like YouTube content, and so there is always a way to use what you have, and the best resource that we can have is the time. Everybody has time. Like, we all have 24 hours. The difference is all about how we use them. From the richest man on the world to the best artists, if you consider Beyonce, she has also 24 hours, So do we. But how do we use those 24 hours? That's the best resource we can have, the time. So the way we use it and what we can do, there is probably a limitless palette of what we can do. So the key is to keep on creating, to keep on exploring new ways to do things. So, for example, nowadays, the business of fashion and or even art and crafts are more in the direction of using mostly the online platforms due to this period we are in. And it's working. It's still working. It's probably even better. They used to do fashion weeks and they will spend millions in like getting stars in, flying in hotel rooms and the pollution and, all of that in order to just attend a fashion week. Can you believe? Like, it's when we think about it, it's true. It's glamorous. It's beautiful. People take pictures. They have parties after parties and all of that. It's beautiful. That's a fact. But when you think about it, it would do more harm than good.
Yeah.
But nowadays they have virtual fashion shows. Sometimes, like, there is this Congolese lady who created a brand during. She had a brand, but she was on the project of creating a fashion show. It's a 3D fashion show with 3D models. I think you saw it
on Instagram.
Yeah, and it blew up. Like, it was probably the best thing on the internet at that moment, and it works. And then you're selling online, and then you have even a bigger platform. Like, you can sell nowadays everywhere. You can be in Rwanda, in Kimirongo market, and sell your crafts to the US or, in Europe or South Africa, whatever, So that's one of the best thing. I believe every time there is a hit or, a problem, an issue, a limitation, that might actually be, if one door is closed, probably 10 more are opened. And the key is not to be limited by your reality of where you are. Thinking outside the box.
Not being in a comfort zone. Just try
things. I never thought I could. I actually hate anything virtual. That's the truth. Like, I hate even if like it's the future and everything, I don't like you know what happened, especially in lockdown, like virtual weddings, virtual birthday parties. I'm like, like personally, I don't find it real, but that's also me being conservative and in my comfort zone. But also, I need to step out of that and understand that's actually the future, and the future is now, and whatever you're doing now is preparing for how it's going to be your reality in the next years. So I personally believe we always have to get out of our comfort zone and try things, and we might find even better ways to do what we do.
And that's what you did during the lockdown.
That's what I did somehow, part of it. I also used most of my time in learning more about, like taking courses, online courses, and widening up my knowledge about what I do, relating to what I do. Yes.
Nice. Because talking about the pandemic, I don't think also... I mean, it's nice to be, for example, like me who teach dance, it's nice to be in a studio, dancing with people, because you get to sense the connection between your students, to know how you're communicating with them. But also if we go to maybe Zoom meeting, maybe you do a class on Zoom, it's also, yes, it's the future.
Yeah, but it's not real. Personally, I personally feel the same way. I feel like weddings on Zoom, it's not motivating for me, which is okay. And especially also as you mentioned, your arts teaching, and sometimes you need to be present to with your students and show them directly according to the personal needs, but there is always a way to do it, and I believe even if I don't, maybe I'm not very much into virtual events or things like those, I'm enjoying, for example, recording what I do. I am hopefully I'm in the next months, hopefully I'm gonna even put out a vlog of what I do, like a bit of a sneak peek into how my workday look like. And that might be a way to share even more, because if you record yourself, you can let yourself go and actually put out what you do at best, and then if you put it out, it's actually probably more efficient, because it's gonna always be there. If you're having a session with the students, it's just that session. They might forget some of the things, some of the tricks, some of the turns you did, but then if it's recorded, they can always go back, repeat it, and that's the key actually to success, because now you can repeat until you do it as the teacher or as the reference. So so I personally enjoy very much the videos, and it's just very hectic. It's not easy to do everything at the same time, because when you're busy working, for example, what I do, I work on outfit. I create outfits. I have a session with my clients, like I do consultings and stuff like that. When you're doing that and in the same time recording, sometimes it's practically impossible to do everything by yourself. So you might need someone else helping you. For example, you have a studio, you have a certain platform and equipment that other brands or other platforms might be in need. So that's how you create collaboration. And then come to create something. Because if you're not good at something, there's probably someone else very good at that and specializing into that. It might be beneficial for you to hire them, rather than killing yourself into something you're not good at, right? If it's not indispensable, if it's not the center of what you do, if it's something that is having the objective to add value to what you do,
Yeah.
then someone else is good at it. If you can, hire them. Because the best entities or the best businesses were built when there is collaboration.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork, exactly.
Because I feel like it's also a space for us artists to be able to collaborate, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you're not open to collaborate, then you're limiting yourself.
Yeah, there is this favorite quote that they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go farther, go together. So it's always, you get to amazing results when you work with the people as much motivated as you into a certain project. You get to amazing results.
Then you have
all the
more
time.
energy to focus on
On
one
what
thing.
you're good at. Exactly.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
One. But I'm always fascinated with your hairstyles. Always. Is it Pinterest that is inspiring you? Is it culture? Is it your surrounding?
Not really, actually. Some of my hairstyles, I never saw them anywhere. But the more, again, it's the same thing. Like, the more you do something, you repeat, you're going to find more ways to do it, you know?
Yeah.
I think I started with cornrows the first time I did something out of my comfort zone or out of the basic with my hair. And then I liked it, and I did something different with the braids, and then I did this and I did that. And, you know, you always find ways to... So, yeah, it's all about, I might wake up tomorrow and change and, you know...
I'm never ready with you.
Yeah, that's the point. You should never be ready. So, but the thing is, I might be very conservative with my outfits. I am very much I love suits. I'll probably see me most of the time wearing suits. So that's not very much, you know, surprising, or you it's not often that you get surprised with that. A suit is a suit, right? And I'm very much into custom-made outfits. But when it comes to my hair, I get taken away with my creativity or what I feel like doing. Yeah. So and also something else which is very much related to what we are talking about. I meet throughout the process, I meet other talented artists that are very much passionate about what they do, especially so in this case with the hair. So sometimes I just go sit at my barber's and he's like, I'm like, just do what you think you should, you know, like just do your thing.
Yeah.
Because he ends up knowing what I'm into and what I like, and, you know, and he also gets creative and he creates something on my head, you know, and it's like I'm also a platform for them, you know, and I love giving that space for someone who's very good at what they're doing and passionate about it, and you end up creating something which is not common or on Pinterest necessarily, or
And then it becomes that signature of the Juan Nsabiye.
Yeah, somehow.
Social media.
Yeah, somehow, you know, like when you stand out, it's more. There is a big probability that you get noticed, your brand or whatever you do get noticed, and it's something that I learned through the process. I just let myself out. I never did it for the sake of getting noticed, but I somehow worked in that direction. But I believe for anybody who wants to do something or to sell something, it's so important to build a brand and to make sure your brand is perceived how you want it to be perceived. Because sometimes we might be taken away with what we love doing. Oh, I love doing this, I love doing that, but then you realize that's not what your customer is looking for. And that's when you understand the difference between you and your brand.
Yeah.
The brand is there to serve the customer or like your market or something like that. And you might be into something, but then you realize it's not good for your brand. Then that's when you need to focus and to prioritize. But like, what is really my objective? Is it to strengthen my brand or to put it out there, or is it to make it controversial, like to have biased message? What's the message you want to send?
Yeah.
Because I personally believe it's all about the message you want to send. There is a reality. The word judges from the appearance. It's a fact. We can't change that, even ourselves. Like,
do you feel judged?
No, it's inevitable. Everybody has to be judged. It's a fact.
Now we are talking about you.
I'm talking about the general for the brand. Of course I'm judged. It's inevitable. And it might be having positive results or negative results, But a fact is, we cannot control that. Even ourselves, unwillingly, it's like in your mind. It's like you are not conscious of that. The first seconds, they say the 7 first seconds you see someone, without even controlling it or thinking about it, you have a perception of the person. Like you have an impression. That's the first impression. You're going to be like, maybe that person is good, or he's not nice, he's not approachable.
Yeah.
I should talk to them or not, Oh my God, I don't want to have anything to do with that. All of that is happening in your mind without you controlling it.
We are humans.
And that's actually the most amazing thing. It's unfair. That's true. It's unfair. Like, people judge by their appearance. It's unfair. It's not good. But also, when you know that, why not use it in your advantage?
Like in work?
You are, for example, you're going to an interview. You're applying for a job, you're going to an interview, and your appearance is going to affect the perception they have on you. And you still go in sneakers and jeans and a t-shirt. Unkept hair, unkept beard, whatever. And you basically know for that specific job, your appearance is going to affect the perception they have on you. Even though it doesn't affect your abilities, your talent, and whatever. When you know that the people are going to be limited to your appearance, why not use it for you to get to your objective, or to get to your goal of getting the job or doing what you do at best? If you know you're limited.
Yeah, actually that's true.
They say even, like Mark Zuckerberg is wearing a t-shirt and shorts and jeans, like when he's working. He's one of the richest entrepreneurs. He doesn't have to wear anything when he's doing his thing. He has other employees who have to wear suits and stuff to work, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But remember when he was on court, he was asked to go on court because of the whole Facebook scandals and all of that. He had to wear a suit. And those are the rarest moments you see him in a suit, right? Why? Because he knows his appearance is gonna affect the perception of the jury, of the judge, of the people he has to deal with.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of the powerful men on earth, the richest, but they still have to, and it's knowing that is actually a good. It's a strength, because now now you think, what message do I want to put out? Right? What message do I want to send to the rest of the world, or to the people who see me?
Yeah. And
then you can use that. Hopefully at some point you get to a point where you don't have to wear anything to impress anybody, or to be welcomed, to be accepted, or to be offered the opportunities. Yeah. That's the goal. But before you get there, You need to do what it takes, and that's going in the same line with the brand. Your brand, how you want your brand. I mean, where you want your brand to go. You need to do the right things in order to make your brand noticeable in the right way and touch the right audience that you're targeting. Get to the right market for your brand. Yes, I'm very much thankful and throughout the way of the people that I met on the process.
Yeah.
I met amazing people. I got to connect with great, talented, and inspiring people already on social media. Some of them are media personalities and stuff like that, and artists as well. And those are the people who actually push you to your next level or to your next accomplishments. And that the support you get from that and how you use it is what I believe that's what make that like that move from a certain point to a higher one, and yes, so very much thankful, and I'm also excited because I feel like that's not the end, that's actually the start. That's the beginning, and I'm looking forward to more opportunities, more more events like
big
those,
moves. Big moves.
Yeah, definitely.
Big up to you, man.
Thank you.
It's a lot to talk about, and a lot of interesting subjects we've been talking about, and I'm very happy that you are open to go and tell me everything. Man, it's such a crazy journey, man.
I really realized how powerful or how inspiring someone's story, even the smallest one, can be very inspiring. I very much get inspired practically every day. Sometimes with the people on my team, sometimes from the people on social media, or everywhere there might be inspiration. And so I appreciate very much what you do, making that space, providing that platform for the people to come and get inspired. And so it's very much a pleasure. And I also feel like when you share what it's also beneficial for me, because we keep on learning all the time. I learn from you, you learn from I'm very much gaining as well being here.
I mean, we struggle together, we win together,
Exactly.
It's also like for me, it's just a space for me to connect with different artists, and creatives, because we are all different, and we are bringing different subjects and topics on the table, and some things I'm not gonna be aware, same as you, and that's a way for us to grow, but also creating and building that community out there listening to us, and also, who knows, I mean, for me, the purpose of this podcast was to inspire those young creatives out there, to show them, Juan started like this, but Juan is Juan today. Juan you see on social media,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
He's humble, actually. He's not, maybe on social media he seemed very professional in his work, but he's actually has also that side of showing you that, there is a time he was hustling. Yes, he's still a hustler, but he's also winning right now, and it's also nice to show people that, and also show them that they have to push hard and not limit themselves, just go for it. That's basically
the also what I would say. Just do it, just go for it, just start, especially that, because sometimes we keep postponing. I should probably do this, I should do, and it stays there. But that's the difference between, like, the successful idea is not the one that's in your mind, it's the one that gets out and is executed.
Yeah.
So It's basically just do what you think is the right thing to do right now. And maybe it's not the right thing, but still do it, because now you're going to realize the right thing to do it.
Yeah.
So when you're afraid of failure, that's when you don't succeed, because every successful person has to go through a failure.
Yeah.
And because it's actually a good thing to pass through a failure and to survive it, because when you survived it, then you know what not to do.
Yeah.
You gain more experience, you gain more strength to keep on doing.
And we people tend to think that if we fail, we will not learn.
Yeah.
And you're learning actually when you're failing.
So you either, I like this, I don't remember where I got it, sorry. They say you either win or you learn. They say there's no failure. Yeah. Failure is actually a lesson.
Yeah.
So when you have that perspective, like you actually win, you either win or you learn. Yeah. And when you learn, now you know how to win, you know. And just, there's so much talent out there. And the problem is, I know so many people, even my friends, I know some people who are so good at some of what they're doing, and they just don't put it out, or they don't focus on it, and it's such, it's sad.
And what would you advise them?
To do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just throw yourself out there and do what you love doing, and create something, even on a side hustle, as a side hustle, as a side business, as something you do after your regular job. Just do something, because at the end you might realize that's actually your passion and what you're good at, and that's when everything changes. Because when you realize your passion is the best thing you're able to do, now you become the best at what you are doing, and you become irreplaceable,
Yeah.
If you keep doing it, you're going to be the best, and you ameliorate yourself, and that's the only way to get it. There is no shorter process.
And I feel like it's a healthy approach on yourself, because you are being you. You're doing what you want.
It's not the easiest.
It's not the easiest.
Far from that. It's basically not the easiest, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Big up to yourself, man.
Thank you.
Big up to Juan Nsabiye. It's a lot to talk about, man. I really wish that you come back to some of the episodes.
I mean, just let me know.
Yeah, big up.
Just let me know.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the #1 podcast in the country, The Journey Podcast. You already know, hosted by me, Manzi Mbaya. Make sure you tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and YouTube, of course. Make sure you subscribe, and much love. I feel very grateful to always have people listening to us, and make sure you interact and comment and share your ideas, and very grateful. We're on a journey, and you already know, much love. Big up.